Australia's feathered foe. In 1932, Australia declared war. Not on another country, but on emus. Yes, emus. Thousands of them invaded Western Australia, devastating wheat crops. The farmers, many of them war veterans, were desperate. Their livelihoods were being trampled, literally. With crops destroyed and fences flattened, they turned to the government for help. The solution? Send in the army, armed with machine guns. Major Meredith and his men were dispatched to the wheat belt, ready for battle. It was called the Great Emu War, a military operation against birds. The stage was set for one of history's most bizarre battles. The emus, on their annual migration, found paradise in the wheat fields. For the farmers, it was a nightmare. The government hoped military might would solve the problem. But as we'll see, nature had other plans. The battle lines were drawn, soldiers versus emus. Major Meredith, 2 soldiers, and 2 Lewis machine guns faced off against thousands of emus. The plan was simple. Find the birds, set up the guns and fire. But emus are fast, wary, and unpredictable. The first attack failed. Emus scattered in all directions, dodging bullets with ease. The soldiers fired thousands of rounds, but only a handful of birds fell. A second ambush ended in disaster when the gun jammed and the emus escaped unharmed. News of the fiasco spread quickly, and the press mocked the army's failure. The emus seemed to have leaders, warning the flock and outsmarting the soldiers at every turn. The birds broke into small groups, making them nearly impossible to target. The army's confidence crumbled as the emus proved to be brilliant guerrilla fighters. The operation became a national joke. The soldiers were left frustrated, outmaneuvered by birds. The emus were winning, and the world was watching. The Great Emu War was turning into a legendary embarrassment. The military's high-tech weapons were no match for nature's instincts. The birds had the upper hand. After a week of failure, the army withdrew in defeat. Parliament ridiculed the operation. One politician even joked about awarding medals to the emus. But the emus kept destroying crops, and farmers demanded another attempt. The army returned, this time using more mobile tactics. Trucks chased emus across rough terrain, but the birds outran and outmaneuvered them. Thousands more rounds were fired, but results were still dismal. By December, the operation was called off for good. Nearly 10,000 rounds had been fired for fewer than 1,000 confirmed kills. Major Meredith admitted defeat, famously saying if they had a division of emus, they'd be unstoppable. The emus had won. The military's efforts were no match for the birds' speed and resilience. The Great Emu War ended in humiliation for the army. The farmers were left to find another solution. The legend of the emu victory was born. Sometimes, nature simply can't be beaten by brute force. With the army gone, the government turned to practical solutions, bounties and better fences. Local farmers and hunters who understood the land succeeded where the army failed. The Emu War became a cautionary tale in Australian folklore. The lesson: never underestimate nature. Technology and firepower aren't always the answer. Sometimes simple local solutions work best. The story is a reminder of humility and the absurdity of trying to outgun wildlife. The emus' victory became a symbol of nature's unpredictability. The Great Emu War remains one of history's strangest, most humbling episodes, and it all started with a flock of birds and a few machine guns.